नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 Chapter 9 Verse 44 Sampadyamanam ajnaya Bhishmam brahmani nishkale Sarve babhuvuste tushnim Vayam Shiva dinatyaye Sampadyamanam ajnaya Bhishmam brahmani nishkale Sarve babhuvuste tushnim Vayam Shiva dinatyaye
Sampadyamanam ajnaya Bhishmam brahmani nishkale Sarve babhuvuste tushnim Vyam Shiva dinataye
Translation purport by His Divine Grace of Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Synonyms Sampadyamanam having merged into Ajnaya after knowing this
after knowing this
Bhishmam about Sri Bhishma Deva
about Sri Bhishma Deva
Brahmani into the Supreme Absolute
into the Supreme Absolute
Nishkale unlimited Sarve all present Babhu Vuhute all of them became
all of them became
Tushnim silent Vayam Siva like birds
like birds
Dina Atyaye at the end of the day
Dina Atyaye at the end of the day Dina Atyaye at the end of the day. Sorry.
Translation, please repeat after me. Knowing that Bhishma Deva had merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute.
Knowing that Bhishma Deva had merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute.
All present there became silent like birds at the end of the day.
All present there became silent like birds at the end of the day. Purport. To enter into or to become merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute means to enter the original home of the living being. The living beings are all component parts and parcels of the absolute personality of Godhead, and therefore they are eternally related with Him as the servitor and the served. The Lord is served by all His parts and parcels, as the complete machine is served by its parts and parcels. Any part of the machine removed from the whole is no longer important. Similarly, any part and parcel of the absolute detached from the service of the Lord is useless. The living beings who are in the material world are all disintegrated parts and parcels of the supreme whole, and they are no longer as important as the original parts and parcels. There are, however, more integrated living beings who are eternally liberated. The material energy of the Lord, called Durga Shakti, or the superintendent of the prison house, takes charge of the disintegrated parts and parcels, and thus they undergo a conditioned life under the laws of material nature. When the living being becomes conscious of this fact, he tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and thus the spiritual urge of the living being begins. This spiritual urge is called Brahma Jignasa, or inquiry about Brahman. Principally, this Brahma Jignasa is successful by knowledge, renunciation, and devotional service to the Lord. Jnana, or knowledge, means knowledge of everything of Brahman is supreme. Renunciation means detachment of material affection, and devotional service is the revival by practice of the original position of the living being. The successful living beings who are eligible to enter into the realm of the absolute are called the Jnanis, the Yogis, and the Bhaktas. The Jnanis and Yogis enter into the impersonal rays of the Supreme, but the Bhaktas enter into the spiritual planets known as the Vaikunthas. In these spiritual planets, the Supreme Lord as Narayana predominates, and the healthy, unconditioned living beings live there by rendering loving service to the Lord in the capacity of servant, friend, parents, and fiancé. There, the unconditioned living beings enjoy life in full freedom with the Lord, whereas the impersonalist Jnanis and Yogis enter into the impersonal glowing effulgence of the Vaikuntha planets. The Vaikuntha planets are all self-illuminating like the sun, and the rays of the Vaikuntha planets are called the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti is spread unlimitedly, and the material world is but a covered portion of an insignificant part of the same Brahma Jyoti. This covering is temporary, and therefore it is a sort of illusion. Bhishmadeva, as a pure devotee of the Lord, entered the spiritual realm in one of the Vaikuntha planets, where the Lord, in his eternal form of Parthasarthi, predominates over the unconditioned living beings who are constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. The love and affection which bind the Lord and devotee are exhibited in the case of Bhishmadeva. Bhishmadeva never forgot the Lord in his transcendental feature as the Parthasarthi, and the Lord was present personally before Bhishmadeva while he was passing to the transcendental world. That is the highest perfection of life.
Harim Tatsat. मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताक स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो आचार्यपदाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने Gaurakatha Dhamadhaya Nagara Grama Tarine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavati Pachatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Hare Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudanam Bakam Karoti Vachalam Pangulanga Tegiri Nityapada Mahamande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Hariyom Tatsat. Very beautiful purport in this verse we can understand. Nobody, if followed Srila Prabhupada and reading purports of Srila Prabhupada, can be misled. Otherwise, there is a tendency of this conditioned soul that thinking that Bhishma Deva had merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute. Oh, he has merged into the impersonal Brahman. Like that they may think. But Prabhupada is very clearly specifying here that to enter into or to become merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute means what? Okay. That means he is taking his original constitutional position in the eternal relationship with the absolute true Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. That is the meaning. Why? Prabhupada is explaining that. Why? Because the living being are the all component parts and parcels. So being just a part and parcel, we may think that, okay, we are just a part. We see so many spare parts for the machineries, car, engines, etc. sold at a very good price. Okay. But that spare parts are having some value because it can replace some damaged part. But in the absolute realm, we are not spare parts. There is no spare parts because there is no damage. There is no spare parts because there is no damage. And every part and parcel of living entities are component parts and parcel. Component means they have a specific function fixed up. That is the dharma. Just like sugar is to taste sweet. It can never be separated from that. So it is a component. So like that, the component part and parcel of Krishna means based on one of the relationship, we have not only having a constitutional position in the spiritual world with Krishna, but also a fixed up function, devotional service. Fixed up, that is why it is called component part and parcel. It has a specific function, not any function, any component can do. No, no. This living entity is having, each living entity is component part and parcel of Krishna. So they have a specific devotional service well tied based on a particular personal private relationship with Krishna for each living entity. That practice is being given here so that the component can function there very nicely. In out of only this kind of component part and parcel can function, not by putting oil and other things. It's not mechanical, it is not material. It is spiritual, and we are not spare parts. We must understand. We have a private relationship. A son is never a spare son to a father. Son is a son, whether 1 or 10, doesn't matter. All are sons of the Father. In the similar way, every son has a specific private father-son relationship with the dad, and then has a specific function in relationship with that particular father. And he takes care of all of them equally well. So similarly, this particular component part and parcel of living entities, they are not spare part and parcel. They are the original part and parcel. Original part and parcel. There is no replacement available. Why no available? Because not needed. Because the living entity is eternal. The living entity is conscious. The living entity has a constitutional devotional service as its function in relationship with Krishna. These are all eternity, and there is no damaging or there were no maintenance is required. It's all automated. Just like Brahma Jyoti's effulgence from all the Vaikuntha planet, there is no need of sun, moon, or electricity in the spiritual realm. Just like that, this component part and parcel, the living entities, all that we need to do is just to cleanse ourselves. Cheto darpanamarchanam bhavam avada vagni nirvanam. And that is by Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Same Krishna's name, because whose component part and parcel we are, his holy name. He is not different from his holy name. Only he can fit us in our constitutional position. So Bhishma Deva here has achieved the success that he is in that Vaikuntha planet, spiritual, where Krishna is in the form of Parthasarathi ruling that Vaikuntha. So this is a very beautiful, declaration. Prabhupada is ultimate personality here, and he is explaining every bit and pieces, So if that particular component part and parcel of Krishna is disintegrated or removed from its constitutional position, it has no value. This is very important. Very important, because as soon as a hand is cut off from the body, the hand is no more useful. The hand is no more useful. The hand which was taking the food and giving into the mouth is no more useful. It is destroyed. Similarly, any component part and parcel of Krishna, when detached from Krishna, we are supposed to be detached from matter, not Krishna. Okay? By mistake, it worked reversely because of our tendency being the marginal potency. So we become detached. Detachment is there always. Whether you want to detach from Krishna or detach from material world. So by mistake, we detached from somehow or the other. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have fallen into this material realm. So please pick me up and place it as one of the dust particle under your lotus feet, O Govinda. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer. As a living entity, he taught us what to pray to Krishna. So we are component part and parcel, and when we disintegrated, then we don't have the original function. You cannot function, because when you are integrated, you are empowered to function. Just like a spark in the fire will act as fire as long as it is in contact with the fire, but the spark is removed, it extinguishes. Similarly, the component part and parcel, this living entity, when it disintegrated from Krishna, the whole, then we lost our value, we lost our empowerment, we lost our function, everything is lost, but still we exist. It is like dead, although breathing. That is the status. So in order to revive that particular consciousness, we have to associate with the whole through the bona fide spiritual master. This process is called Bhakti Yoga. Another important point Prabhupada is telling here, that this disintegrated part and parcel of the supreme whole, they don't have any more importance, because though they are original parts and parcel, but they are no more original, and they have detached from Krishna, and the functionality that they are supposed to, which Krishna is expecting them to do out of love. So that is missing. So he has put us in the material world. Okay, anyway, you cannot be inactive. You want to act without me. You don't want to act for me. You want to act for somebody else. Okay, go on. So they will be acting for each other. All the detached, disintegrated component part and parcel will get together, and again they will get disintegrated from each other, and they will, maintain love, affection, so many things, and then enviousness, lust, greed, all these things will come. This is not our quality, actually. None of these are our quality. This lust, anger, greed, no, this is not our quality. Our quality is Sadda Chitta Ananda Vigraha, non-enviousness, compassion towards the fallen conditioned soul, preaching the essence of this Krishna consciousness as the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to every fallen conditioned soul. This is our nature. Yeah, liberated, what you can call, original component part and parcel who is not disintegrated from Krishna. If that component parcel will come to this material world, still it will remain detached from matter and attached to Krishna only, just like Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada we are seeing. They come to this material world, their act will be there. But how they will act? They will act as the original component part and parcel of Krishna only. That is the reason they are able to represent Krishna or God. That is how they are able to claim the fallen conditioned souls and join them back, teaching them, practicing them, giving them the remembrance of what part and parcel of Krishna are you and what function that you are supposed to perform. They're putting us into the training, practice, and then they are not replacing, just they're fixing us in our original component part and parcel of Krishna. This has to be very clearly understood. So the original component part and parcel of Krishna, if they come to descend to this material world, they don't act like a fallen conditioned soul, forgetting Krishna. They always, Krishna is there with them. They never get separated from Krishna. Krishna used to say, no, I know nothing but my devotees and my devotee knows nobody but me. So this is the private relationship between every individual person and Krishna. So this particular point is very important, is the consciousness of Krishna. We are missing the consciousness of Krishna. As living being, we are active. As living being, original constitutional position, we are servant. So we are serving and we are acting. All these things are there. But to whom to serve, that we forgot. How to remember Krishna? Only by virtue of consciousness. Only by associating with those conscious personalities, we will be able to reviving our consciousness. It is not that, okay, you forgot Krishna, you remember that. It's not material forgetting and remembering. It is consciousnessly forgetting. We became unconscious and we have to become Krishna conscious. There can only be two status for the living entity. Either it is unconscious or it is Krishna conscious. So those who forgot Krishna, those who are living in this conditioned world under Durga, under the illusion, they are all called unconscious. That is why it is called dead although breathing. Bhagavatam statement. We are all dead although breathing. What is the use of such breathing? It is like the blacksmith's bag. Puff, puff, puff. It is also breathing. What is the use of that? So like that, we should not breathe here. We should breathe Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We should revive our consciousness. We should become from unconscious state to conscious state. And for that, our doctor is the spiritual master and this Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we hear this Srimad Bhagavatam, associate with spiritual master, and under his guidance, we practice Krishna consciousness. Practice means training. When we take up the training, when we are in this dead matter, sitting in the dead matter, but we are not dead. No, we are alive. We are active. So when we revive that consciousness and start acting as a soul, acting as component part and parcel of Krishna, then our success is ensured. So spiritual master will ensure that particular success. Another important point Srila Prabhupada is giving in this. What is that? We know that jnanis are focusing on the impersonal Brahman, whereas yogis, the Ashtanga yogis, they are focusing on the Paramatma feature of the Lord. We consider the yogis better than jnani for certain sure, because the yogis at least imagine a form. They are trying to see the form which is within the heart as Paramatma feature. But then what is their ultimate objective? If you see, Prabhupada has repeatedly said in this particular purport, their ultimate objective is to become jnani. After seeing Krishna as a Paramatma, they will ask, please give me that jnana with which I can also merge into your absolute, unlimited, impersonal Brahman. See the suicider. When someone will go and pray for, let me suicide, please help me. This is the yogi's position. After seeing the Paramatma feature also, their ultimate objective is to merge into the impersonal Brahman. That is called spiritual suicide. So this is what they are doing, all the yogis as well as jnanis. Very clearly, Srila Prabhupada is telling here that jnanis and yogis enter into the impersonal race of the Supreme. Only bhaktas can enter into the spiritual planets. Only bhaktas can enter. Bhaktyamam abhi janati. So only bhaktas can enter. Jnanis and yogis cannot know Krishna as he is, as the original personality of God. They can never know. They will think that ultimately he is impersonal Brahman, which is the rays coming from Vaikuntha planets. Just see. This glowing effulgence, this particular this jnanis and yogis will get into this particular impersonal Brahman only. Again, repeated, Prabhupada. Jnanis and yogis. Okay. Only devotees, they can, become Krishna conscious. And once they are Krishna conscious, they accept their lost constitutional part and parcel position. And they eternally fixed up out of love and affection in a specific service privately with Krishna based on the private relationship. There are 5 types of relationship. So Bhishma Deva is always along with Parthasarathi form of Krishna. So there is Vaikuntha where Krishna with the 200 form is available in the Parthasarathi form. Okay, they are all one person only. Again, the place is only different. Yesterday we saw that. Krishna is the same one Krishna, that one Krishna who is one without a second only. But the places are different. In Kurukshetra, he is found. In Vrindavana, he is found. In the Vaikuntha planet also, there is one Vaikuntha where he is Parthasarathi there. And where Bhishma Deva has reached, Prabhupada, the only Acharya Parampara through which we know. Otherwise, we will know only, okay, he is entered into Krishna's body, so he is entered into impersonal Brahman. No, they are not entering into impersonal Brahman, they are devotees. So those who are devotees, they never ever accept any kind of mukti. So here, Bhishma Deva is in such an exalted position. He is a pure devotee of the Lord. He is pure devotee. Prabhupada is mentioning here, Bhishma Deva as a pure devotee of the Lord. Entered the spiritual realm in one of the Vaikuntha planet. Which Vaikuntha planet? That Vaikuntha planet where the Lord in his eternal form of Parthasarathi. That is the beauty of it. And there he eternally engaged in the service of Krishna. So what is that particular relationship between Krishna and the devotee? It is the love and affection which is binding. The relationship is nothing but the binding of love and affection with the Lord and the devotee. Okay, so this is exhibited in the case of Bhishma Deva. So he never forgot Krishna. He never forgot. And that is the reason the Lord was physically, visibly present before Bhishma. This is the perfection of life. So very beautifully, Srila Prabhupada has, put us in the right spot and give us so much information in this part. So Shantagopi, you want to add anything or can we proceed? Or anybody wants to add any comment before we proceed to the next verse? Okay. So let's proceed to the next verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 45. Tatra dundu bhayo nedur.
Tatra dundu bhayo nedur.
Deva manava vadita.
Deva manava vadita.
Sashamsu sadhavo rajnam.
Sashamsu sadhava
Rajnam.
Khatpetu pushpa vrishtaya.
Khatpetu pushpa vrishtaya.
Tatra dundu bhayo nedur.
Tatra dundu bhayo nedur.
Deva manava vadita.
Deva manava vadita.
Sashamsu sadhavo rajnam.
Sasamsu sadhavo rajnam
Tatpetu pushpavrishtaya
Tatpetu pushpavishtaya Tatra dundubhyo nedur
Dundubayonedur
Deva manavavadita
Devamanavavadita
Sasamsu sadhavo rajnam
Shamsu sadhavo rajnam
Katpetu pushpa vritsaya
Tatpetu pushpavrishtaya.
Jai Jai
Synonyms. Tatra, thereafter.
Tatra
Tatra
thereafter
thereafter.
Dundubaya, drums.
Dundubaya
Drums.
Nedhu were sounded.
Nedu were sounded.
Deva, the demigods from the other planets.
Deva, the
Deva, the
demigods from other
demigods from other planets.
Manava, men from all countries.
Manava, men from all countries.
Vadita, beaten by.
Adita,
Beaten by
Shashamsu, praised.
Samsu, praised.
priest.
Sadhava, honest.
Sadhava, honest.
Rajnam, by the royal order.
Ragnam, by the royal order.
Khat, from the sky.
Khat
From the sky.
Pethu began to fall.
Two began to fall.
fall.
Pushpa vrishtaya, showers of flowers.
Pushpa vrishtaya, showers of flowers.
Translation, please repeat after me. Thereafter,
Thereafter,
both men and demigods sounded drums in honor.
both men and demigods sounded drums in honor.
And the honest royal order commenced demonstrations of honor and respect.
And the honest royal order commenced demonstrations of honor and respect.
And from the sky fell showers of flowers.
And from the
sky fell showers of flowers.
Wow.
Purport.
Bhishma Deva was respected both by the human beings and by the demigods. The human beings live on Earth and similar other planets in Bhur and Bhuvar group of planets. But the demigods live in the Swar or heavenly planets, and all of them knew Bhishma Deva as a great warrior and devotee of the Lord. As a Mahajana or authority, he was on the level of Brahma, Narada, and Shiva. Although he was a human being, qualification on par with the great demigods is possible only on attainment of spiritual perfection. Thus, Bhishma Deva was known all over the universes, and during his time, interplanetary travel was affected by finer methods than the futile endeavors. Hare Krishna.
Just a second.
Futile endeavors of mechanical spacecraft. When the distant planets were informed of the passing of the Bhishma, all the inhabitants of the upper planets as well as the earth dropped showers of flowers to show due respect to the departed great personality. This showering of flowers from heaven is a sign of recognition by great demigods, and it should never be compared to the decoration of a dead body. The body of Bhishmadeva lost its material effects due to being surcharged with spiritual realization, and thus the body was spiritualized as when iron becomes red hot when in contact with fire. The body of fully self-realized souls is not therefore accepted as material. Special Special ceremonies are observed for such spiritual bodies. The respect and recognition of Bhishmadeva are never to be imitated by artificial means, as it has become a fashion to observe the so-called Jayanti ceremony for any and every common man. According to authorized Shastras, such a Jayanti ceremony for an ordinary man, however exalted he may be materially, is an offense to the Lord. because Jayanti is reserved for the day when the Lord appears on the earth. Bhishma Deva was unique in his activities, and his passing away to the kingdom of God is also unique.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Om Jnana Timirandana Chakshurmunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mugam Karodi Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatrupat Maham Mande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namavam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Sri Mate Jayapataka Swamin Nitinamini Namacharya Padaya Nitaya Kriba Pradayane Gaurakata Damadaya Nagaragrama Tarine Namavam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Karandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Bhishma Dev jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Very, very amazing. See the disappearance of a pure devotee we are seeing from Bhagavatam vision. But now Bhishma Dev gave us a vision of what happened in the warfield and how Krishna appeared there. The person who has seen the Supreme Lord in front of his eyes, and now he is disappearing. So how his disappearance is glorious. How it is disappearance is glorious. So Dundubhyo Nedur Deva Manava Vaditha. So okay, Deva Manava, the human beings will generally glorify people for whatever their personal reasons may be. But here we see that the demigods from other planets are glorifying, and they are also playing drums. Bhuloka, we are staying in Bhuloka. The upper planetary is immediate upper planetary system is Bhuarloka, and then above is Bhuloka, Bhuarloka, Suarloka. Suarloka is Devaloka, where all the demigods are there. So in the night time, when you see the sky, especially when it is like now Amavasya came, Diwali was on, always Kartik month Amavasya is Diwali. Very easy to identify Diwali day. So that is on Amavasya or dark no moon day, you look at the sky, then you will see many stars. That is called constellation. So in these constellations are illuminating planets where the gods reside. And they are all showering the flowers. They are all showering the flowers. And not only, they are also playing the drums. So see how beautiful is this. How beautiful is this? This is a pure devotee. Therefore, both men and demigods are sounded drums in honor. And the honest loyal order commences demonstration of honor and respect. This is generally, even Indian army and all, some dies in war and all, they have some special respect. And sometimes there is prime minister, chief minister, somebody, don't know what is their behavior, characteristics, nothing. People have their own methodology of respecting people. And even there will be low class person in the material world when they are dying, and they are doing like dancing and all that. But here you see that this is Prabhupada purport is very, very essential, because see, we may misunderstand that such a rascaldom activities to be equal to the glorious disappearance of a personality who has personally seen Krishna, not just seen Krishna, his entire life was for dedication for the mission of Krishna. Krishna wanted to eradicate unnecessary burden in the earth, so he wanted to appear. So before that, as Vasu, he appeared and he carried out the order, and he also had personal reciprocations in so many occasions with Krishna, especially in the chivalry's past in the warfield. So there is a Parthasarathi Vaikunta Loka. Here in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning there is a Vaikunta Loka called Parthasarathi Vaikunta Loka, where he is going eternally. He has come from there, and he performs the pastimes and with Krishna for a particular purpose, and he goes back there. So, and from the sky fell showers. So Indrari Vyakulam Roham Hridayanti Yuge Yuge. Regularly, Indra is disturbed by carrying out his managerial work because of demons who want to unauthoritatively hold the position. Bali and all wanted to authoritatively hold the position. Bali was very intelligent and now he got Krishna, the great pure devotee. But here, so regularly he's being disturbed because wherever there is name, fame, glory, position, there is always competition and diplomacy, duplicity, controversy, fight, all these debates, all these things are happening wherever there is requirement. So here we see that this is the glorious disappearance of Bhishmadeva. Now Suta Goswami is speaking in the previous two verses. This verse, previous two verses, we saw that Suta Goswami started speaking. Bhishmadeva became silent and he disappeared. Just he spoke about Krishna, described the beautiful form of Vrindavan, everything, and then he said that he's more than Paramatma. He's not just Paramatma alone, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he told he knows more than he's Paramatma, and then he disappeared. How wonderful is this? How wonderful is in the remembrance? We see some videos of how Prabhupada's disappearance. Of course, it is heart melting, but so wonderful Vaishnava lying in the bed in Vrindavan, and till the last moment, his dictaphone is near his mouth and he is translating Srimad Bhagavatam. Till the very last moment, last breath, he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam, speaking Bhagavatam, he disappeared. So how glorious is this passing away of Vaishnavas. So Bhishmadeva was respected both by human beings and by the demigods, in purport Prabhupada is mentioning. The human beings live on Earth and similar planets in Boer group planets, but the demigods live in, and similar other planets in Boer groups of planets. But the demigods live in sewer or heavenly planets. All of them knew Bhishmadeva as a great warrior and devotee of the Lord. So they all know Bhishmadeva as a great devotee, as a Mahajana. So it is not that anything which is happening in the earth, nobody is aware of all these things. No, they are very well aware. And if Lord asks them to go and have a war, they will have, otherwise they'll keep quiet. They will let things happen. So we should not think that nobody knows what is happening here. Nobody lives in other planets. All the other planets are empty. Only this planet is filled. And that also we, through evolution, theory of evolution, from animals we are all coming. What nonsense is this? So here, there are other planets also that are there, and they are coming to know what is happening in the world. And they have higher technology systems. Oh, they don't have TV, they don't have camera, they don't have a very detailed telecast systems which we are having. So you have to telecast a live match, ITPL, some match, whatever is very famous. And people can sit in the house and they can look at it, and you have such a big system for doing this. How big is the system? Thousands and thousands of people, thousands of antenna, and there is service engineers and this and that, and then there is a cable fellow or whatever dish antenna fellow, and then there is so many arrangements, and there are stations and people are working, and thousands of people to show one match which is going on in one place nearby. The match is happening in Delhi or somewhere, or I don't know, wherever, Bangalore, and I'm watching from Bombay, such a near places. For that, so many Ugra Karma arrangements have to be made. But already transportation and all arrangements are already there, naturally being provided according to whatever is required for them. And we see here how they all know about a personality in this earth. On those days, the horse will go very slow. You know how powerful the horses were? There you say, why the engine power or anything which is speed related is called, is the unit name is horsepower. Why they named it as horsepower? Ask them why the machines are named as horsepower. Because the horse is the most powerful, Baba. Because some movies and all, they show horse coming like this in black and white, and we see that movies and think that the whole world was in black and white. Before, it was the most colorful. Tamalavarnam, Gauravarnam, the dresses Gauravarna, Tamalavarna, what color, what is required. Just because you see in black and white doesn't mean that the whole world was going in black and white, baby. So as Mahajana, So here we see that everybody knew that how great was Bhishma Dev. As Mahajana, the authority, he was on the level of Brahma, Narada and Shiva. These personalities are there. They are all there. So we need to follow these personalities. So, okay, they had horse. I will also bring up some horse. I will have a farm in which I bring horse. No, that is not the idea. We will follow this Mahajanas. The horse was used at that time. Everything is there for usage. Either it's a motorbike, or it's a car, or it's an electronic vehicle, or it's a drone. Everything is created for the service of the Lord. Let it be horses or elephants or whatever be. The weapon, now gun is there or something is there, and earlier some other weapon was there. But every item in this world is meant for the service of the Lord. This is Vaishnavas. They won't rewind and they want to go back to the old system. I will do this. Olden days, they were having cow dung. I will also. No, we are not here to rewind or make a settlement of the situation. Whatever is available. So here, as a Mahajana, he was on the level of Brahma, Narada and Shiva. Now see what Brahma, Narada and Shiva do, and we do that. Because he was also Bhishma Dev also, although he was a human being. So what did they do? What does Brahma, Narada, Shiva do now? And we will follow, don't worry. We'll follow them. We need not rewind and go to the age where chariots were there, horses were there, cows were protected. All these things. We cannot rewind. Kali Yuga is Kali Yuga. It will keep on moving forward only. And we move forward towards Goloka, baby. We move towards Prema. So he was on the level of Brahma, Narada. Brahma, what did he do? Haridas. He came. Yesterday we were hearing from Guru Maharaj. Amazing, amazing Lord Haridas Thakur's pastime. Even Brahma would like to touch his body, which actually means that when Brahma comes as a pure devotee, very, very wonderful. They are not two different personalities, but people may think that Haridas Thakur is the incarnation of Brahma. No, it is not true. Brahma is the incarnation of Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is the eternal form of Brahma in the spiritual world. And then Brahma is presently available in the material world. So Brahma also would like to touch the body of Haridas. Like how Mahavishnu and Shiva came as Advaitacharya. So here Shiva came as Advaitacharya. What did he do? He chanted Hare Krishna Mantra. What did Brahma came as Haridas? What did he do? He chanted Hare Krishna. What did Brahma came as Haridas. And Narada Muni came as Srivas Thakur. He also chanted Hare Krishna Mantra. He led a life of a Grahastha. He had brothers, he had a joint family, he had children. It is not that I will not get married, I will not look at girls, I will not beget children. No mental speculation. Oh my God. What a mental speculative, confused society. Confused society of ununderstanding Krishna consciousness. So this is what is we are seeing, that how it is that confused society of. So we should be very careful that we are not very clear that Brahma, Narada, Shiva, Bhishma, pure devotees, Mahajananena Gatasa Panka. Mahajanas will show the path, and we need to follow the path. And they practiced an amazing Krishna conscious life. Here, Brahma, we have come to Mayapur. We can take you to the place where Haridas Thakur was sitting in the cave and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There was a cave. The cave is like a small kupa. It's like an unused well kind of thing. And then Brahma was sitting inside it, that Narada Muni was forgive me. Haridas Thakur was chanting there. And Narada Muni, there is Sriva Sangan here. We can go, and also in Hooghly district, later after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went away, took sannyas and went away to Puri. Then Srivas Thakur and family was not able to feel the separation because everything reminded of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they went and settled in Hooghly district. That's also there, Srivas Thakur's place. And then Shiva, Advaita Acharya, he's a Shantipur here. We see that what he did, he offered Tulsi leaves and Ganga water and invited the Supreme Lord to come. And then, of course, he had many Kirtan pastimes with the Supreme Lord and all that. So we see that Harinam Sankirtan is that not that, okay, I will also go back to that yuga by setting up that Varnashrama Dharma of that age, and I will dress like that and I'll talk like that. What kind of mental speculation is that? So we should be very careful that we are just practicing what has been preached to us by the present acharyas. The present acharyas can guide us. Always people want to go back to the previous because they want to live in the past, but the time goes. But Krishna consciousness is absolute. It's beyond time. So every time to time, Acharyas come and revive and give us the latest edition. What to say of this iPhone, this phone, that phone, and all, we are getting latest. Everybody wants the latest version, latest edition of the mobile. Why they don't want to have the older one? Why can't we go and take the button phone? Or like a brick in earlier time, first mobile we purchased was like from BPL. Like it was like a brick. It'll have an antenna. We need to pull the antenna out like a walkie-talkie. So you still remember me and Prabhu, that's 1998, 97. We have seen that mobile, and we won't get signal. So we have to go to the terrace or some higher place and all. So why can't you use that, yeah? How will you proceed? Sometimes we see in the name of Krishna consciousness, people say that we use only firewoods, we use them. Whatever you do, gas cylinder, they give, or electric cooker, just offer to Krishna. Second is distribute to the devotees, distribute to common people, and then preach Krishna consciousness. You discuss Krishna Katha, you read the purports, sit and read the purports. Make it in the electric cooker or gas stove, offer it to Krishna. Doesn't mean you put the wood only. Of course, wood cooking is more healthy, this tea and all, but anyway, your body is going to be destroyed. Even before you become old age, how much ever strongly, organically you maintain your body, some corona will come and you will just die. Or there may be accident. In who said that in young age nobody will die? So the life effort should not be directed towards sense gratification. Life's motivation should not be directed towards sense gratification. Sometimes I see that many of them very much talk about cow because they want to drink cow milk or they want to give their children cow milk. Cow milk is very healthy. So there's no affection towards cow or Prabhupada said and all. Just misused for their own personal. They think this body is very permanent and this body has to be maintained very nicely in the name of whatever, Krishna consciousness. Not like that. So we just need to go with the wave of the time. At the same time, acharyas are coming time to time. So the current acharya, whoever is the current acharya, practical application has to be taken from them. Not the previous acharyas, they give the principles. The present acharya will give the practical application of how to do. So qualification on a par with the great demigods is possible only by the attainment of spiritual perfection. So here you see. So thus, Bhishma Deva was known all over the universe. During this time, interplanetary travel was affected by finer methods than the futile endeavor of mechanical spacecraft. The spacecraft is made with the items of this earth. So they have a limitation. So spirit soul has a higher power and subtle finer methods, subtle body is more powerful. When a person is leaving the body, the Yamadutas pull the subtle body out and the subtle body very easily travels. 1 month is 1 day. For them, within 12 days, they reach the Yamaloka in 12 days. So the lunar time is for moon, 1 month is 1 day for Pitrus. So within 12 days, one reaches the Yamaloka so fast. The subtle body travels. In 12 days, it is reaching so many yojanas, miles and miles, and so easily it travels so fast. Think in your mind, you can think and go anywhere. No, even now you can just think of some place and you are able to think and just connect with that place. Not with physical body. So here they are using physical body related earth, water, fire, air, ether to make the spacecraft. But mind, intelligence, ego, that is also a body. We have subtle body, and that is a faster method. And authoritatively, even while we are staying within the body, we can use the finer methods to travel also. But interplanetary travel was very casual at that time. Finer methods than futile endeavor of mechanical spacecraft. So machine means heavy. Heavy means that earth, water, fire, air, ether, mainly earth. earthly content is more, then it's very heavier, then flying is very difficult. Then there is why we are able to go and swim in the water, but we are not able to fly in the sky. Even a little bit, one minute you jump in the air. Try just 1 minute, you need to stay in the air without touching the land. Is it possible? Because the body is very heavy. Same way, all the spacecrafts, everything is made of this element. And how much external force by having some fuel which will burn and push through the air? How long you will do? So when the distant planets were informed of the passing away, how quickly, see this, The distant planets were informed of the passing away of Bhishma Deva. All inhabitants of the upper planets as well as the earth dropped showers of flowers due to respect and departure of the great personality. In many places, we see that there was a rain from the sky. So this will happen, actually. The showering of flowers from the heaven is a sign of recognition by great demigods, and it should never be compared to the decoration of the dead body. Sometimes when in the material world somebody dies, he'll be a rascal and he'll die, and people will throw flowers and glorify him and talk of great about him. He will be drunkard, womanizer, all these things. He would have looted people, he would have cheated, all these things are there. But they will. So now that is dead body. Okay. So dead body is something different from disappearance. So that is why we won't use the word die for Vaishnavas. We use the word disappearance and appearance. We won't use the word birth and death. Birth and death is for a common man, ordinary man. So, and sometimes they decorate it so much. Why the body has to be decorated so much when it is dead? But here, Bhishma Deva lost the body of Bhishma Deva doesn't have any material effects due to being surcharged with spiritual realization. Already it is mentioned, anybody who sees Supreme Lord, Bhishma Deva confirmed one thing, that anybody who looks at, even in the opposite party in the warfield, anybody who looked at the Lord got liberated. Then what to speak of Bhishma Deva, who was a pure devotee, who came to give chivalrous fight with Krishna for exchanging, loving exchange. So thus the body was spiritualized, like when iron becomes red hot when in contact with fire. We can also have such a body. We can also have. How can we get this? The secret is explained by Prabhupada here. How we can get a spiritual body? Very simple. You have an iron. Okay. There's fire. The fire is full of heat and light, and it's full of heat and fire. So what you do is you take the iron and you keep it in the fire. Then what will happen after some time? You will see only the red color. Some welding shops, you can go and see in the welding shops how an iron is coming in contact with the fire. Then you will see only a red hot fire kind of thing. But actually it's iron. Then only they'll bend it. It won't bend otherwise. Iron, very difficult to bend. Do different shapes and designs. But we are seeing grill gates. We are seeing gates, and the windows also we put grill and all that. So where that MS comes from, that iron. So how they are able to? So because it becomes red hot when it comes. Same way, when a conditioned soul, when it is in touch, in association with the pure devotee, self-realized soul, then we also become spiritual. So the body of fully self-realized soul, so when our Supreme Lord, or if it comes in association with the Supreme Lord or his vision, Angani yasya sagalendriya vritti manti, pashyanti panti kalayanti siram jaganti, ananda chinmaya rasa, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in Brahma Samhita, Angani Yasya Sagalendriya Vritti Manti. So Krishna is described, every part of his body can do every other part's activity. So here, so Krishna simply seeing, glancing is enough. You need not even touch, you need not even show his hands or palms in the mudra of blessing and nothing, simply vision, simply far away, the warriors, they were present in the same war field where Krishna was there. That's it. They got liberated. They went back to spiritual world. As the body was spiritualized, when the iron becomes red hot, when in contact means any type of contact. So the body is fully self-realized, soul is not therefore accepted as material. That is why, and moreover, he is fully self-realized also. Special ceremonies are observed for such spiritual bodies. So we should understand why Vaishnavas, disappearance is celebrated. Many times, sometimes devotees ask, I have undergone this question, why do we celebrate? Death is like very painful and all that. So when pure devotee disappear, it's a painful, of course it is painful because we are feeling separation from great souls. But at the same time, it is to be celebrated because they are spiritual in nature and they went back, Nitya Leela Pravesh. They are entering into the Nitya Leela. So that at the same time there is sorrow, at the same time there is happiness. The sorrow is the separation from such pure devotees of missing their association. at the same time hankering for them in association, and we won't get to hear from them anymore. This is the pain, but at the same time, the happiness is that they are entering into the spiritual world where now they don't have separation. In this material world, even though Krishna is there, we are not able to see him. A kind of separate feeling is there, but they are entering into the eternal pastime. So the respect, recognition of Bhishma Deva are never to be imitated by artificial means, as it has become fashion to observe so-called Jayanti. This Jayanti, that Jayanti, somebody will be, Prabhupada is mentioning here. We know whose Jayanti is very famous in India. So Prabhupada is very sharp in guiding us, guarding us. They will say that Mahatma, this person, he sent a rocket to the space, and some man, he came and he got freedom to India. What freedom? What is the freedom now? Everywhere there is meat eating, gambling, illicit sex and intoxication. Everywhere. Switch on the TV in your house, in the front hall of every house. In Damodar month, in the evening, everybody will lit lamp to the Supreme Lord. But in all the houses on Diwali, there is special movie. What is Diwali? In Shivratri full night, they will give special movie so that you will be awake. And what will be the movie? That will be some lady with a very less cloth dancing here and there, item dance, and something provoking the lust, greed, envy, anger, revenge. All the famous movies of color movies started with revenge only. There will be a person, your parent will be killed, the children will be there, they'll be twins, they'll be separated, and they'll come to revenge the villain. And they will join and they'll have a family song and they'll sing it. So lust, greed, envy, anger, all these things are extra provocation. Already we have this, we are the conditioned soul, and naturally we have certain degree, but that is promoted so much. So there is, and this we should not, and this Jayanti, that Jayanti ceremony for, so somebody, okay, Gandhi got this, he preached, and so some Jayanti word cannot be used. Prabhupada is mentioning here, Jayanti word cannot be used. Only Krishna Jayanti in South India, they call Krishna's appearance as Krishna Jayanti. In North India, they call it as Janmashtami. So it is meant for Krishna, the glorious appearance, and the Bhishma Deva's disappearance is Jayanti ceremony. So when somebody dies, they will create Jayanti ceremony, not for somebody who just, everything is, material is all temporary. And asat. So the respect and recognition Bhishma Deva are never to be imitated by artificial means. Who is great, who is not great has to be understood very clearly from the scriptures. As it has become a fashion to observe the Jayanti ceremony for every common man. There is Jayanti and they keep statue in the middle of the road. All road dust will be on that person. Nobody will care for that statue. And once in a year on the birthday, they will say Jayanti, and they will go and put one garland there. They will suddenly, the traffic will be stopped, and some so-called leaders will all be assembled there on his birthday, not appearance day. That man appeared. So they will go to the statue and they will put a garland. And that's all. And they'll all go. They'll talking their political diplomatic things. They don't have. And that man will, I don't know where it is, Naragaloka, somewhere he is suffering, or in some other species as a dog or a cat where he is suffering. And they'll put and go. It's just a dead, the stone. It's a dead stone. So never we should call the deity as statue. Prabhupada never called as ideal or statue. Even though in India it was very famous that people call the deity in the temple as idol or statue. In ISKCON, the statue is very beautiful. No, it's not statue. What you keep in the road is a stone and it's a statue. And then till next year, the same garland will be there. Until then, all the birds and all the cows, the crows and all will come and sit on the statue until they will pee on the statue. Nobody will wash it. And then next year, when again the ceremony has to happen, then suddenly from municipality people will come and they'll put a municipality brush and they will clean that, all the nasty things. And suddenly one day, the next day they garland and again nobody will even bother about that person there. And what benefit he has done? Nothing. Nothing. In fact, they would have created calamity only. So according to authorized Shastras, such a Jayanti ceremony for an ordinary man, however exalted he may be, or even if he does a very good job materially, If such a Jayanti ceremony is observed, then it's an offense to the Lord, because Jayanti is reserved for the day when Lord appeared on the earth. The word Jayanti can be used only for Krishna Jayanti. It's reserved, not for any Tom, Dick and Harry. If we do that, even if he's built hospitals, this, that, he has done very good thing, still it is not to be observed, because it's an offense. Bhishma Deva was unique in his activities, and his passing away of the kingdom of God also unique. Same like Krishna appearance is called Jayanti. Same way here, some glorious events are called Jayanti. Glorious ceremonies are called Jayanti. So here, Bhishma Deva was unique in his activities, and his passing away from the kingdom was also unique. So it's a very beautiful scene where we can see that the demigods are throwing flowers. And I would like to a little bit speak about, just a little bit about the previous purport, where it's so amazing. The entire Bhagavad Gita summary, that is what I'm seeing. Knowing that Bhishma Deva had merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute, all present there became silent like birds at the end of the day. The birds will be chirping the whole day, like this. But at the end of the day, they all are silent. Evening, same way, everybody became also silent, because Bhishma Deva had merged into, and immediately after that, they became silent. But what happened immediately? Drums and flowers, all these were showered from the sky. But so generally, death ceremony is not, any death ceremony should not be observed silently. This is against the scriptures. And whenever there is a Vaishnava's disappearance, there should be kirtan. So here we see that the drums and showers are coming. We do kirtan with the mirzanga and karatal when somebody disappears. Okay, so here purport I would like to tell about where Bhishma Dev went is mentioned here, how he went into that so to enter on into or become merged into the unlimited eternity. So what is the speciality of purport? If somebody reads the translation, knowing that Bhishma Deva are merged into unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute, what they will think? He went into Brahmajyoti. That's what they'll think. That is why you require Acharya. That is why you require Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Very, very important that we read purports. So sometimes people try to read Sanskrit. They want to read Sanskrit. Why do you want to read Sanskrit? Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that the whole world will hanker to learn Bengali language, not Sanskrit language. Why do you want to learn Sanskrit? Because you want to directly understand the verse. You don't even want to learn the translation. Prabhupada sat day and night and did all these things for whom? Now it is in all the languages Sanskrit is translated. What is the requirement for learning Sanskrit? Guru Maharaj, when taking Chaitanya Charitam, Chaitanya Bhagavat also, he says that I don't know Sanskrit. I translate Bengali books. So 1 or 2 books are there in Sanskrit. So that books, we take the translation as it is from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, or some other person is translating a little bit, editing. Already translation to an extent is available for Murari Gupta Kadacha. That's the only book I think in Sanskrit. Only 1 or 2 books are there in Sanskrit. Everything is in Bengali. It's a Rasa language, Bengali. So very, very dangerous just to go on. Why nobody is communicating in Sanskrit nowadays? Okay, fine. And Prabhupada has translated important Vedic literatures which are essential for growth of Krishna consciousness into English. Rest of the nectarian songs and others are there in Bengali. So it is not required anymore to learn Sanskrit at all, because we have Srila Prabhupada's books and he has sat day and night and give us this nectar. What is the requirement for knowing the Sanskrit? Little bit you learn how to read in English only, some you can read. Little bit it will be difficult. Bhishmam, Brahmani, Nishkale, we are reading. What is the difficulty? And just the translation alone, you read also. Surely Prabhupada's purport is very, very essential, and you'll get to know everything there, every detail. To enter into or become merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Lord, Absolute, means to enter the original home of the living being. There is a home, there's a form, there's a name. We all have a name, form, permanent, not temporary identity card we are carrying. There's a birth certificate which carries our name as an identity, and then the death certificate also carries the name, and that's it. And no more that name is present in the earth. But there is original name for us, original home for us, original form for us. So here Prabhupada is giving, merging into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute means to enter into the original home of the living being. The living beings are all component parts and parcel of the Absolute Person of God, and therefore they are eternally related with him in servitor and served. Not like one light, what is that? one small light is there, go and merging in big light, Brahma Jyoti. Small Jyoti merge into big Jyoti. This is a foolish dump explanation. Even in the material world, which is considered inferior, you're seeing so many colors, forms, names, relationships, emotions. How can a liberation be higher when it is empty? How can a liberation is higher? Let us go back and liberate. Who will even want to liberate when there is only light? Here there is so many color, form, feelings, emotions, and so many things. Inferior world, which is considered as a dustbin itself, is having this much. Then what to speak of the spiritual world? That is liberation. That's the highest status of life. Yeah, that is the place we are going. Not like what empty space, nothing is there, shunyam. Nirvisesha sunyavadi paschatya. Some people sunyavada, some people mayavada. All empty, and there is only light, and you are a small light, you merge into the big light. What nonsense! It's absolute nonsense. So here, the Supreme Lord, therefore, they are eternally related with him as servitor and served. So the Lord is served by his part and parcel, and complete mission is served by its parcels. Like if you have a mission, any machine you take, a mixie or something, any machine you take, there are small parts. Screw, nut, bolt will be there, any small part. What is the purpose of the part? Is to serve the whole mission. Same way the Lord is, but every part is also unique. If there is a nut or a screw, the nut or a screw has a uniqueness. It is not the TV. I have a TV. The TV has many parts. So when a nut falls down, I have to take it and fit it back again. Or if it is if we want to continue to fall and stay away, I didn't get the nut I am searching, then I'll get another nut or another screw, I'll purchase and then I'll put it. TV will keep functioning. TV will not stop because a nut is lost. So any part of the machine is removed from the whole is no longer important. Similarly, any part, and so the purpose of the nut is to be part of the TV. But when I have only a nut, what will I do with that? It should be part of some machine. Yeah, otherwise, there's no use for nut or bolt or screw. I have a screw. There's no use. So, similarly, any part of the parcel of the Absolute detached from the service of the Lord is useless. The living beings who are material world are disintegrated part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. So here, all this detailed, I can say that this is a very mini version of Bhagavad Gita. We can say summary of Bhagavad Gita is given here. See, it takes a summary of Bhagavad Gita, very simple to understand. The overview of Bhagavad Gita. First chapter, if you see, Arjuna is confused. Jati dharma, kula dharma, ye dharma, o dharma, sri dharma. Like this. Sometimes you see so many people confused. Oh, we are in this dharma, that dharma, this is Kshatriya dharma, that is Varnashrama dharma, this is that. Nahi rakshati dukrungarani. These kind of conversations, we see, it's not Krishna conscious. We should understand very carefully. We should understand what is the confusion of Arjuna. And we see that even now they'll be talking about Sri Dharma, that a lady should be very submissive to the husband and this and that. And so suddenly somebody will become a devotee and that lady will become a nice Vaishnavi. She'll start chanting. Her husband will be drunkard. And he will tell that stop chanting, and he'll beat her. Then you want to follow the Sri Dharma and you want to be obedient wife of the husband. No, you follow that, then your husband will transform. He won't transform. He may transform, may not transform. But you have got it. This life is very rare. Human life is very rare. Getting spiritual master is very rare. You continue chanting. Tolerate and continue chanting. So, in this way, that Sri Dharma, everything became bogus. Everything is bogus. Everything is temporary. Any Dharma is temporary. Except for that Dharma. So very, very clearly Bhagavad Gita explains, like initial confusion. Then first thing, Krishna takes Arjuna out of illusion. that anything you see in this material world is temporary, and you're not the body, you're spirit soul. So don't see bodily, just see in spiritual platform, and it just liberates in 1 second, just in the first conversation itself. After that, what to speak of confusion in various questioning about how should I get married, not get married, and should I have children or not children, this thing. So no confusion at all. When we are in spiritual platform, we have a spiritual master, is guiding us currently how we have to live, and we'll just live that. That's it. Simple. Nothing complex in that. And second is in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter itself, and 3rd onwards continuously is talking about various, what to speak of material, the spiritual itself. So when a living entity become conscious of this fact that I'm not this body, I'm not under the Durga Shakti, I'm in the prison house, I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul. This is what is explained here. Prabhupada is explaining. So we are absolute in nature, we are spirit soul, cannot be burnt, we cannot be withered, all these important original part and parcel. Therefore, however, more integrated living entity who are eternally liberated. So the material energy of the Lord is called Durga Shakti, and the prison house, she has kept us. So we have to get out of it. So what is that spiritual? And undergo conditioned life. This is called conditioned life under the law of material nature, because we are conditioned. So this is okay, fine. So whatever arguments Arjuna gave in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is based on conditioned life, law of material nature. So immediately Krishna told that no, you don't follow this rules and regulation of this world. It has nothing to do with you. You're a spiritual person. So because you said, Sishyat Seham Sadimam Tvam Prapannam, you're the spiritual master now, Krishna. I'm your surrendered soul. Please instruct me. So Krishna immediately took the role of a spiritual master. Till now he was a Parthasarthi. And he took the spiritual master's role, and he immediately told, you're not the body, you're spirit soul. That is the first lesson, LKG. And whatever conditioned life law, you're talking, everything is your body based only. So when the living being becomes conscious of this fact, he tries to go back home. Okay, so what are all the methods to come back to Godhead? Thus the spiritual urge of the living entity begins. Okay, fine. Spiritual urge is there. Spiritual also, there are very, very many steps, very varieties. So spiritual urge is called Brahma Jignasa, Atato Brahma Jignasa, inquiry about Brahman. So principally this Brahma Jignasa is successful by many processes, by knowledge, renunciation, and devotional service to the Lord. Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Siddhi Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga we can say, or we can say Jnana Vairagya. Jnana and Vairagya, Bhakti. Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti. So jnana or knowledge means knowledge of everything, Brahman, Supreme. Renunciation means detachment from material affection. And devotional service is revival of the practical original of the living being. The successful living being who enter to the absolute are called jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. So here, jnana, knowledge, 3 things are explained. Jnana, Vairagya, and Bhakti. So that is practiced by who are all there. This is also fully Bhagavad Gita explains about jnanis and yogis. So Bhagavad Gita said, and people try to practice meditation. Meditative Bhakti. And jnana, so much jnana you get. Prabhupada gives so much jnana. The books of Prabhupada give so much jnana. That is jnana. That is not jnana, that's Bhakti only. What you are taking maybe is jnana, but what we are taking is devotion. We see in every purport of Prabhupada only devotion. So you see jnana maybe, because you are jnani, you are partially taking, if milk and water is mixed, Anna Pakshi will take the milk and leave the water, and you want to. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining each of the process, all the 3 spiritual processes. All these 3 are spiritual processes. That is why spiritual life. Sorry, we want devotional life. More than spiritual life is devotional life. So spiritual life is like jnana, vairagya, and bhakti, which are practiced by jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. So kevala bhakti. So jnanis and yogis enter into the impersonal rays of the Supreme, but the bhaktas enter into the spiritual planet known as Vaikuntha. This is explained in Krishna is explaining jnana yoga. All Ashtanga Siddhi Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, everything is explaining in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita said, you should understand the Saramsa. Not Bhagavad Gita said, and you go in to follow Jnana Yoga, and it's Krishna's arrangement, the password protected, licking the honey bottle from outside. So password protected, based on your complicated ideas, you will be receiving only that much. Unless otherwise you surrender to the pure devotee spiritual master who can open the honey bottles. He has to unscrew and open the honey bottle for you. Only then it will be revealed. So the bhaktas entered in the spiritual planet known as Vaikuntha. So even in bhakti, there is gradation. In bhaktas also, there is gradation. So in spiritual person, there is gradation. Spiritual persons are jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. Or all three are spiritual persons. So they all are eligible to enter into the spiritual. But spiritual entry level is Brahmajyoti. Unless somebody performs bhakti, they cannot enter into the planetary systems. So jnanis and yogis enter into the impersonal rays only of the Supreme. But the bhaktas enter into the spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas. In these spiritual planets, the Supreme Lord as Narayana predominates, and the healthy, unconditioned living being live there. They are not under conditioning. They are healthy. By rendering service to the Supreme Lord as servant, friend, parent, and fiancé. There is unconditioned living being enjoy full freedom. In this Vaikuntha planet also there is gradation that is explained in Nectar of Devotion. That there is Vaikuntha planets, and then there is Dwaraka, and then there is Mathura, and then there is Goloka Vrindavana. And there is actually another secret place called Svetadvipa also, where Lord Chaitanya lives. That is the highest of everything. That even the Supreme Lord enjoys devotion. So devotion is the highest actually. And then, of course, Goloka and Vrindavana and Mayapur are not different, but they both are Dhamas. And the Dwarkapuri is, Jagannath Puri is the representation of Dwarkapuri of the spiritual world. So this Goloka Vrindavan is divided into three portions. One portion is Dwaraka and Mathurapuri, and another portion is Svetadvipa, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is eternally performing pastimes, and another portion is Goloka Vrindavana. Vrindavan, Mathura Mandala, Dwaraka, and Svetadvipa. So this is what is three different methodology. Krishna will never be serving anybody because he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, he serves out of affection, but he's always a supreme controller. So he appears as in a Brahminical pastimes in Svetadvipa, and the Vaishya pastimes, which are considered the most sweetest of all sweetest in Mathura Mandala, Vrindavana, and the most sweetest, similarly sweet pastimes are there in Dwaraka as a Kshatriya, but not as a Kshatriya king with responsibilities, but as a Kshatriya prince, prince and princess, prince and princess. So two princes, that is Krishna and Balarama, one princess, and that is Subhadra. So Krishna, Balarama, Subhadra enjoys the pastimes there and there it's not that okay. There is what is that Raja? What is that? There is some people claim that near Gujarat is Dwaraka. Some people claim like that, and there is Patatrani. They say there's nobody Patatrani. Krishna gave the kingdom back to his grandfather Ugrasena, and Ugrasena was ruling, and Vasudeva was there. How will Krishna become, and how will Rukmini become Patatrani and all that? Blabbering nonsense. Have some Rukmini temple so-called. Nobody, no acharyas visited there. So here we should be very careful to stick back with the Krishna conscious movement and teachings of our acharyas. We should teach it, not that publicly what is becoming famous is what is truth. We should be very careful. So there are under spiritual realm, we have these three things, Jnani, Yogi, and Bhakta. In that, the spiritual planet where the devotees enjoy in various capacities with the Supreme Lord as a servant, parent, and fiancé. So these are unconditioned beings, Vaikuntha planets. The Vaikuntha planets are all self-illuminating like the sun. So 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita explains this. Now, Prabhupada is coming to the 15th chapter onwards, where further is, before that in 12th chapter and all, he explained about devotion, which can take one above the Jnani and Yogi. And then he comes to the beautiful Purushottama Yoga, Purushottama, Krishna. is there. So above Brahma Jyoti, there is beautiful planet and description, everything. So we can see this one particular Bhishma Deva where he went also is mentioning in last paragraph. But before that is we can see that summary of Bhagavad Gita. You can understand the entire Bhagavad Gita by reading this too. If anybody asks you what is a short form of what is there in Bhagavad Gita, tell me in short. You can just this purport, not this last paragraph, but till this paragraph. Krishna never told about his Goloka and all. That detail was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Krishna told about only this much, that his spiritual world is there, Purushottama Yoga. And so Bhishma Deva, as a pure devotee of the Lord, entered into the spiritual world, one of the Vaikuntha planets, Parthasarathi. There the Lord is always performing very, very nice chivalrous pastimes. So from that, there only Bhishma Deva came and he went back there. He entered there because he gave pleasure to the Lord. Whether he came from there or not, people who give chivalrous rasa to the Lord, he enter there. So the love and affection which binds the Lord and the devotee are exhibited in the case of Bhishma Deva. Bhishma Deva never forgot his transcendental Parthasarathi Rupa. So yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyachatkante kalevaram. Whatever you think during the time of death, you will attain that. So it's very careful. One should be very careful. You should not start another new movement called International Society for Rama Conscious. We should be very careful. Prabhupada created International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And even this Damodar month, everything is related with Krishna only. Every incident, 365 days, there is pastimes of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very, very important. Our movement is, we are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and pastimes. So we have remembrances on which person Guru Maharaj is giving Chaitanya Leela, and whoever you are remembering, and you are hearing, you are seeing, that only you will attain during the time of your death. If you think of Yanti Deva, Vrita Deva, and Pitran Yanti Pitran Vritan. Bhutani Yanti Bhutebhyo. So whoever you think of your forefather, you will go to the forefather planetary, Pitruloka. You think of Puja, Veda, Prasasa, you do black magic, then you go to that. Yanti Deva, you think of demigods, then go to that planet. You worship them, you think of them, talk about them. So Bhishma Deva thought of Parthasarathi Rupa, he went there. So we should be very, very careful. We are not getting deviated by some foolish propaganda and famous and coming here and talking some nonsense. We should be very, very careful whom to remember, whom to glorify. Every day we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we sing the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya songs, and we are being guided very nicely, and we should take this guidance very seriously so that we attain the ultimate success. Otherwise, there are so many. There will always be milk and water mixed. And Guru Maharaj wants all of us to be Hamsa. All of you should become Paramahamsa. This is what the desire of Guru Maharaj. Paramahamsa. So what is the Hamsa? Why Hamsa is mentioned? Very beautiful Hamsa. It's because when drink and water and milk is mixed and kept also, it will drink only the milk and it will just leave the water. Same way, we should be very, very careful when we are getting all these mixtures. We should leave the water and take only the milk. So that will be successful. It's a very amazing and important purpose. I'm really sorry to take a little extra time. The Lord was personally present before Bhishma Deva while he was passing to the transcendental world. So this is the highest perfection. So Bhishma Deva never forgot. So we should all remember Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Because if you attain the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will automatically enter into all Goloka pastimes, because Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nehi Anya, Balram Hoilo Nitai. So we get Gaur Nitai, then we get Radha Krishna and Balram. What else is required? They are all in Vrindavan. And also further, the same Krishna Balram is there in Dwarka. So we should know which is the source, which is the fountainhead, the Supreme Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu is and Guru Maharaj now went to Vrindavan and he established in Damodar month, the holy, beautiful Damodar month, Diwali time. Around that time, he established Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet footprint in Radhakund and in Bandiravan and beautiful places. So which place will you, one time Guru Maharaj asked, how can we establish, they want me to establish this lotus feet in Vrindavan. They called me long time back, before maybe 3 months, 6 months back. Guru Maharaj was telling in Chaitanya Leela class, they called me to do this. But in which place should we establish? Because every particle speaks as pastimes in Vrindavan. Every particle we have to establish. Where will we establish? The entire Vrindavan belongs to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not this place, that place. When he visited South India, he visited. So he established the lotus feet. But about Vrindavan, Guru Maharaj commented this, that is Radha and Krishna themselves, and they perform so many pastimes, as well as when Lord Chaitanya, he went to every single place. So how will we mark a particular place as a place of visit? No, he owns Vrajeshwara. He is Ishvara of Vraja, Supreme Lord. Who is that? Vrajeshwara Gaura. I don't know, Guru Maharaj gave this name to Prabhu. But otherwise also the Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Radha and Krishna, or the Vrajeshwara and Vrajeshwari, Radha and Krishna. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna themselves. So we should be very much indebted to getting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and a pure devotee who is surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and leading us in the right path. And we should, without any deviation, we should follow in his footprint so that we also achieve this highest perfection of life. During passing away, we should remember Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That is the highest perfection of life. Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much. Hari Bol. Gauranga.
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 Gauranga. Thank you very much. So anybody has any questions, comments, or realizations? Please share with us. 5.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
प्रभु दिया है इसमें प्रामाणिक शास्त्रों के अनुसार किसी सामान्य व्यक्ति का, चाहे वह भौतिक दृष्टि से कितना ही बड़ा क्यों न हो, जयंती उत्सव मनाना भगवान के प्रति अपराध है। तो हम लोग जो जयंती मनाते हैं, जैसे महात्मा गांधी, जवाहरलाल नेहरू, राजेंद्र प्रसाद, भीमराव अंबेडकर, लाल बहादुर शास्त्री, या टेम्पल में भी किसी की मनाई जाती है, तो वो भगवान के प्रति अपराध है।
बिल्कुल सही है। आपने सही समझा है। कोई भी इंसान, वो कितना भी बड़ा क्यों ना हो, अगर उसका कोई जयंती नाम से मनाया जाता है तो वो भगवान के प्रति अपराध है। ये गुरु साधु शास्त्र का वाक्य है। इसलिए ऐसा जयंती नहीं मनाना चाहिए। जयंती वही मनाना चाहिए जो गुरु साधु शास्त्र के अंतर स्वीकार किए गए हैं। उसके अलावा बाकी को हम जयंती नहीं बोलते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हम लोग जो वैष्णव आचार्यास हैं, उनको हम जयंती नहीं बोलते हैं। हम उनको आविर्भाव, थिरोभाव, उनका जो अपीयरेंस और डिसअपीयरेंस डे दोनों बराबर हम मनाते हैं। उनका कोई प्रभुपाद जयंती, ये जयंती, वो जयंती हम नहीं बोलते। हम बोलते प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव, प्रभुपाद तिरोभाव, अपीयरेंस और डिसअपीयरेंस। अभी डिसअपीयरेंस डे आने वाला है, तो जयंती नहीं मनाया जाता है। जयंती केवल भगवान के लिए होता है, कृष्ण जयंती। सो ये जयंती का वो जो लफ्ज है, उसे किसी और बद्ध जीवन के लिए इस्तेमाल करना महा अपराध है। ये निस्संदेह की बात।
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
और एक है 43 में प्रभु, भगवत गीता या श्रीमद् भागवत के भगवान के शब्द उनसे अभिन्न हैं। वे भगवान के शब्द अवतार हैं, और कोई भी मनुष्य 8 वसुओं में से एक श्री भीष्म देव जैसी अवस्था प्राप्त करके इनका लाभ उठा सकता है। तो ये 8 वसु कौन कौन से हैं?
ये 8 वसु जो है, ये अपना महरलोक, सत्यलोक से नीचे जो महरलोक है, उसमें 8 वसु होते हैं। वसु एक प्रमुख, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, पोजीशन, देवता है। 8 वसु होते हैं, और उस 8 वसु का प्रमुख वसु जो है वो भीष्म पितामह है। वो महाभारत में बतलाया गया है। वो 8 वसु का जो नाम है वो है कई शास्त्रों में, लेकिन उसका यहाँ पर आवश्यकता नहीं है। यहाँ पर एक ही वसु का आवश्यकता है, वो भीष्म देव है।
8 वसुओं में से एक भीष्म देव है।
हाँ,
बाकी 7 और लोग हैं।
और 7 वसु हैं जो एक्चुअली 8 वसु को यहाँ पर आना था भगवान का लीले में। इसलिए संतानु महाराज ने गंगा मैया से शादी किया। ये केवल 8 वसुओं को उद्धार करने के लिए, गंगा मैया से उद्धार करने के लिए। इसलिए गंगा मैया ने 7 वसुओं को जैसे जन्म लेते ही उद्धार किया, उन सबका जीवन एक वसु को दे करके इतना लंबा जीवन जो है भीष्म पितामह को दिया, क्योंकि भीष्म पिता स्वयं भक्त है भगवान का, और इसलिए वो उनका काबिलियत था कि यहाँ पर रह करके एक महाजन बन के सबका उद्धार करने का मार्ग दर्शाए। इसलिए भीष्म देव को यहाँ पर गंगा मई ने ट्रेनिंग दे करके छोड़ा। तो गंगा मई से ट्रेनिंग किया भीष्मदेव, इसलिए वो प्रसिद्ध भक्त बने रहा, आखिर सांस तक वो भक्त था। तो ऐसा एक वसु काफी है पूरा सृष्टि को बचाने के लिए।
यस प्रभु। और एक है प्रभु 42 में, कृष्ण ब्रह्म ज्योति तथा अंतर्यामी परमात्मा दोनों ही हैं, लेकिन ब्रह्म ज्योति या परमात्मा में न तो कृष्ण होते हैं और न कृष्ण के मधुर संबंध।
बिल्कुल
ये
सही
कैसे
बोला,
संभव है?
बिल्कुल सही बोला। जो एनर्जी है कृष्ण का, जो एनर्जी है, भिन्न प्रकृति अस्य था। कृष्ण भगवान ने बोला भिन्न प्रकृति मतलब अभिन्न नहीं है, भिन्न है। उस शक्ति जो है वो भिन्न, कृष्ण से भिन्न है। जो बहिरंग शक्ति है वो कृष्ण से भिन्न है। और इसी तरह कृष्ण और शक्ति और शक्तिमान, कृष्ण जो है वो शक्तिमान है। जैसा सूरज का किरण है, उस किरण के अंदर सूरज नहीं है, लेकिन किरण सूरज में है। इसी तरह ब्रह्म ज्योति के अंदर कृष्ण नहीं है, लेकिन कृष्ण से भगवत जो ब्रह्म ज्योति निकलता है। भगवत गीता और श्रीमद् भागवतम कृष्ण से अभिन्न है। क्यों कृष्ण से अभिन्न है? क्योंकि कृष्ण का नाम, कृष्ण का रूप, उनका लीला, उनका उपदेश, ये सब जो है वो आध्यात्मिक है। ये इनमें कोई भेद नहीं है। अभिन्न मतलब भेद नहीं, किंतु जो ब्रह्म ज्योति और कृष्ण में भेद है। भेद ये है कि ब्रह्म ज्योति केवल चित्त पार्ट से बनाया और परमात्मा जो है सत्य और चित्त से ही बनाया, किंतु आनंद तो कृष्ण है। सद्य सिद्ध आनंद में वो आनंद जो है ना तो ब्रह्म ज्योति में है और ना ही परमात्मा में है, वो केवल कृष्ण भगवान में है। इसलिए कृष्ण भगवान जो है सद्य ईश्वर परमा कृष्ण सद्य चिद्ध आनंद विग्रह कहलाता है। इसलिए वो जो है ब्रह्म ज्योति में नहीं पाएंगे और परमात्मा भी नहीं पाएंगे, क्योंकि वो आनंददायक जो आनंद का जो मूर्ति है वो कृष्ण भगवान स्वयं है। वो भक्त के पास पा सकते हैं आप। कृष्ण भगवान जो है अपने ब्रह्म ज्योति में नहीं रहते, ना ही परमात्मा में रहते, किंतु वो अपना भक्त के हृदय में रहते हैं, भक्त के साथ रहते हैं। भक्त्या माम अभी जानात, भक्त के द्वारा हम कृष्ण को, भक्ति के द्वारा भक्त को द्वारा हम कृष्ण को प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। ब्रह्म ज्योति से कृष्ण को कोई नहीं प्राप्त कर सकता। परमात्मा से फिर ब्रह्म ज्योति में ही जाएगा। ज्ञानी योगी ये सब जो है उधर ही जाएंगे, सब ब्रह्म ज्योति पे ही पहुंचेंगे, वहां पर कृष्ण नहीं है।
यस प्रभु, धन्यवाद प्रभु।
थैंक यू। एनीबडी एल्स? 5 4 3 2 1 0. Thank you very much for the association. Let's wind up and assemble back on Monday for the next Bhagavatam class. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। पतित पावन श्रील गुरु महाराज की जय। पंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यः वच पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रील गुरु महाराज की जय।